No picture taking allowed in here.
Sorry?
Put those cameras down. You're not allowed to take any pictures in the post office.
I'm not taking pictures.
Okay. Well, aim them the other way or something.
Have you ever read your poster 7?
I don't care.
You don't care about the rules of the post office?
Get rid of those cameras now.
Sir, just calm down and I'll talk to you when I get up to the front.
Or leave. Around so I can go back to work.
Hey guys, we don't want to be on there.
Get rid of the cameras.
Do you see what you just created?
No, you didn't create anything. You guys created it. So
by bringing the cameras.
Nobody said a word until he decided to start.
Hey, I was waiting for him because he's got the authority here, so please.
The authority is on the wall.
Leave now.
Listen, stop yelling.
Leave.
No, I'm not leaving.
With those
I need to buy
now.
a stamp. I'm not leaving.
Hey, Liam, call the cops.
The thing is,
No, it's not the thing is. No, you guys have violated my rights at this point. I want my trespass order.
I'm just letting you know.
I have 12. Listen, I know how the system works better than you do. You're getting an education from me today. We have 12 minutes for me to buy my stamp. So you either trespass me in writing now or I'm going back in. That's it. Let's stop playing games. How's it going, guys? Amagansett Press coming to you today from Silverthorne, Colorado. And we are at the U.S. Post Office here in Silverthorne. And we're going to go inside, have a look around, and find out if these folks honor and respect our right to take video and photographs in public and from publicly accessible places. I'll give you a little view of the neighborhood here.
Follow my Twitter and Instagram if you want to be notified the day before we post.
I'm out with watching the Watchmen today, and think we're ready to go inside and take a look.
Yeah.
After you. After you, sir.
You taking selfies or what?
No, not selfies.
Oh, okay.
No selfies. So, post office box area. Oh, it looked like there was something around this corner, but there's not.
Nothing out here?
No. So this building, dedicated to public service in 1999, William Clinton, President of the United States, William J. Henderson, Postmaster General. Here we have our poster 7. I think you're all familiar with that. This is actually dated 1998, so it's a very old copy.
What y'all doing?
Sorry?
What are y'all doing?
Oh, we're just checking. First time we've ever been in Silverthorne, and we're just checking out your post office. Yeah. You live here?
Yeah, I don't really have a place. I just kind of camp around.
I think this is a very cool place to camp around.
The rents, man. The rents are...
You know what? I was wondering, what is the rent situation?
They talk about, I mean, $15.50 an hour. Some people I work with are paying $1,600, $1,800. One lady was paying $3,200 a month.
$3,200 a month. And $1,600, $1,800 is what? Like a one bedroom?
Yeah, or a studio. It's really terrible.
And now I know it's
$1,500 for like half a room.
And I know it's seasonal up here. So is that like year round, or is that?
If you can find, something year round, it's expensive. But most people work at the resorts, like Vail,
right?
Like Keystone or Breck. But then like April, you gotta leave.
Gotcha.
That's what I did when I came out here, and then I left, and I ain't had a place since.
Well, keep your chin up, keep smiling. We'll say a little prayer for you. And bless you, and have a wonderful day. There you go. Take care. Make sure you pay that.
Yeah, I do.
You too. So we got some notices up on, I guess, a community bulletin board here. Do a little time and temperature check for you. Today is Saturday, February 22nd, and it is 11:16 a.m. How are you? And it is, let's see, 40 degrees in Silverthorne, Colorado. It's a line out the door today. I guess this is a last minute rush because they close at 12.
No picture taking allowed in here.
Sorry?
Put those cameras down. You're not allowed to take any pictures in the post office.
I'm not taking pictures.
Okay? Well, aim them the other way or something.
Have you ever read your Poster 7?
I don't care.
You don't care about the rules of the post
Get rid
office?
of those cameras now.
Sir, just calm
Get rid
down
of
and I'll
those cameras
talk to you when I get up to the front.
Package and leave.
Or
Can you turn
leave.
them around so I can go back to work?
Hey guys, we don't want to be on there.
Get rid
either,
of the
so-
cameras.
Do you see what you just created?
No, you didn't create anything. You guys created it. So,
By bringing
so
the cameras.
Nobody said a word until he decided to start.
Hey, I was waiting for him because he's got the authority
Out.
here. So please.
The authority is on the wall.
Leave now.
Listen, stop yelling.
Leave.
No, I'm not
Leave
leaving.
with those cameras.
I need to buy a stamp. I'm not leaving.
Hey, Liam, call the cops.
There you go.
I just want my package. Dude.
You're outta
Can you
here.
Please just,
You guys are
help
outta
us
here.
out?
Okay.
Like, you're causing all this for everyone now by not turning the
I'm just traveling through Silverthorne with my son documenting a trip.
And you're out of here.
Okay.
You are out.
We'll see about that when the cops get here.
Out of the post office.
Okay.
There are no cameras allowed in the post
You don't
office.
have my permission to
Yeah, and you don't have mine either. So
The rules,
Wants you to leave.
the federal rules for a post office are posted on the wall in the next room. You can, anybody's
outta
invited to go read them.
Hit the road.
I'll speak to the police when they
Hit
get
the
here,
road.
sir. Okay. I'm sorry you're so upset with your life.
We're not upset with our
Hit
life.
the road.
None of us
Dude.
want to be.
I wasn't speaking to you, ma'am.
you're
Be
pathetic.
gone.
You're rude.
You're
You
pathetic.
are
Yeah,
really
I'm
rude.
pathetic.
Hey, this no.
Thank
you
you.
need
Yeah,
to get
thank
out.
you.
I'm sorry. It is a
Out.
federal law.
Who are you? It is not a federal law. Have you ever read your Poster 7? Would you like to go
We
look
don't
at it
care what
together?
you think about the rules. We
You
know the
cannot
rules.
You don't care about the
Postal
rules?
employee.
Get out.
Let's go take a look at
You
Poster
cannot-
7.
Get out of here.
You wanna take a look at the
video
rules?
Postal employee.
Yes, I can.
No, you cannot.
All right, well, then I'll stay here and you can call the cops and do whatever you got to do.
This is how pathetic the world's getting.
Stick around and you'll see the cops tell me I'm right.
Oh, so
Nope.
that's what you want
No,
to try
you
to
won't.
do?
You don't
No, I'm just
You don't have
standing.
the right to.
For
I
what?
would
In
not
this
show. I don't
office,
care
I
to
am the
be.
authority. Whatever you read on the wall doesn't matter.
Wow, really?
In this office, I am the authority. Whatever you read on the wall doesn't matter. Wow, Wow, really?
Yes.
No, you're not the authority in this office, sir. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States is the authority in this office.
Provided that there is no disruption to postal service operations, which you have now created.
No, I didn't create any disruptions. You guys are okay.
Dude, get out of here.
I think you've been living up in the mountains too long, my
Oh,
man.
dude, I don't even live here.
Well, then stop talking to me. What do you care
Hey, I
then?
don't want to be on there.
Well, I don't.
When
I don't.
show
I
up
don't.
here, I'll let the cops know I don't.
I don't
be.
want people to yell at me when I'm in line at a post
Nobody's
office to
yelling.
get a stamp.
He asked you politely
Okay.
to switch that off and turn it around. Didn't he ask you politely?
See, I like this guy. He's just thinking, taking it all in. Maybe that's what you should
How
do.
about this? I'm gonna film that one.
Sure. Yeah. Do you want to do it again? Wow. And at this point, I'll ask everyone to stop speaking to me so you can just
Oh,
go
you have the
carry
right
on with
to
your
that?
business.
If you have a right to that,
I have a right to
not
ask.
to be on your camera.
I have a right to ask.
And I have the right to ask you to switch that
You're
thing
in a
off.
public place, sir.
So you have a public place, so I can talk to you.
Of course you can.
Yeah, well, you just
If
asked
you
not
choose
talk
to.
to you.
And I can film if I choose to.
Dumbass.
Well, there you go. Okay.
I'm just gonna grab a box over here.
Yeah, sure, man. Go ahead. You realize the post office is filming you right over your head, right? Did they ask your permission? Didn't think so.
So,
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing today?
Good, good. Hey, what's going on with the cameras? I'm Officer Ernest at Silverthorne.
Hey, you want to go out here so we can talk and we
Yeah.
don't disturb all these folks?
That would be awesome.
Good.
Actually, thank you.
I'm going to get my place back in line when I go back in, right?
Yeah, we'll
So how are you? Can I get your name and badge number, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Jake Arneson, and badge number 28.
28. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So have you ever, their issue is with us filming in here. Are you familiar with the postal rules and regulations?
So I spoke with them. They're telling me the post office employees are saying they don't permit filming.
Right. So there's something called, I'll show you over here. Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So they have something called Poster 7, okay, which is the rules and regulations of the post office governing conduct on postal property, okay? There is a section for photographs for news, advertising, or commercial purposes, which allows us to take photographs inside of the post office as long as we are not in a restricted area.
Okay.
As long as we're in a publicly
Could
accessible
we
area.
actually go outside so we're not restricting them getting in?
Yeah, let's go right over here. Just plenty of room. Yeah. So that's all we're doing. We're traveling through Silverthorne.
Yeah.
I'm in line to buy a stamp. That's all I was doing. And we're just documenting our trip.
Okay. Well, they've asked you to turn the cameras off. And it's,
But that's not the law.
okay.
That's just their feelings and their requests. So I'm going to respectfully deny that request and go by federal law.
But they're the employees.
Say that nobody's allowed in. Well, they gray tennis sneakers on, and that's not. The rules are posted on the wall, sir. And I just want to make you aware, I'm going to advise the three of you right now that if you make me leave this post office, you're violating my constitutional rights and you're also violating the law.
Okay.
And I will very adamantly pursue that, and I have a very huge network of defense attorneys and people behind me. So I just want to make you aware of that before that happens.
That's your right. That's fine.
Okay.
Do you have your IDs on you?
What would you need ID for?
I need to identify who I'm talking to. I was called here lawfully to talk to you. But
Do you suspect me of committing a crime or having committed a
You're
crime?
trespassing, sir.
I'm not trespassing.
You are.
Have you asked me to leave?
I'm
If you ask me to leave and I refuse to leave, then I'm trespassing.
I'm asking you to leave.
You're asking me to leave in full knowledge that you're violating my constitutional rights.
They've asked you to leave.
Have you read the law on the wall? Would you like to at least, can we look at that first?
I
Like,
understand what's written on the wall.
you didn't even read
But the
it. How do you
employees
understand
asked
it?
you to leave, okay?
You haven't looked at what's on the wall.
Sir,
Does
you-
anybody want to take a look at the rules? And you have the federal law right there. You won't look at it?
You guys have anything better to do? Go help the population or something.
No, well, standing up for your rights, ma'am.
Here, stand over here so we're not
Okay.
walking my...
I just want to point it out to you. It's the photographs right here.
He's
Yeah.
looking over it, okay?
Yep.
So, since you guys aren't doing it for news purposes,
I am a member of the press. And I am doing it for news purposes.
Then
And this,
identify yourself.
I'm working on a story and it will be disseminated. I will not identify myself or tell you what my story's about because
Okay,
that
we're
would,
asking you to leave.
I would request a sergeant then if that's the case. And
I
I'll
am
be,
a sergeant.
you're a sergeant?
Yeah.
stripes on our shoulder.
Have you read the rules and regulations of the post office that authorize
what?
me to take video inside this building?
They're
I also have a
asking-
DHS memo in my car.
Why don't you let me finish?
Well, because you're giving
I'm
me
not
bad information and you're
interrupting you.
violating my rights.
I'm not interrupting you.
Okay, go ahead.
How am I violating your rights?
By asking me to leave somewhere I have every legal right to be. Not only do I have a legal right to be here, I have a constitutionally protected, this is a constitutionally protected activity and you're about to violate that. You might want to call a lieutenant. Seriously.
Okay.
I don't want to have to sue Silverthorne. I want to avoid that. And you will be on the hook for a massive,
The Post Office has asked us to ask you to leave.
you're not federal police. Why don't you call the federal police? You have no jurisdiction in this building.
It's in the town of Silverthorne.
Doesn't make a difference. You need to call federal police. And federal police will tell you that I have every right to do what I'm doing. I promise you. I've done this thousands
What
of
is
times,
your-
ma'am. You have no idea who you're speaking with.
What is
I'm more
your
educated
motive?
on the law than you are when
What
it
is
comes to
your
this
motive?
particular. This is what I do.
Just cause harassment in
No,
town?
not cause. Once you tell me I'm allowed to be here and you acknowledge my right and stop trying to throw me out of here, I'll explain to you exactly what I'm doing
What are you
in great
doing?
detail. Well, you're going to let me stay? If you honor the law and you honor the Constitution of the United States and you honor federal law and federal policy, which is right on the wall, I will be happy to, in detail, explain to you what I'm doing. If
Why
you want to
did they
violate
ask
my
you
rights, I'm
why
not
did
going
they
to
ask
explain
you
myself to
leave
you.
in the first place?
Because they're
Do you want me to?
the policy of the post office is they don't let people film
That is not true.
mailing.
That is not true.
And the lady was saying that it's a pretty exposed mailing room.
That is absolutely not the truth. She's incorrect, and I understand that people can be incorrect, but I am an expert at what I'm doing. I may not know the law in other areas, but I'm very good at what I do.
Okay, that's fine.
And ma'am, I'm sorry, is it Sergeant Dunaway?
Yeah.
Let's start all over again and let's just be calm and cordial. I'm not trying to give you a hard time. okay?
I'm just asking what your motive is.
And I told you, as long as you acknowledge that I have a legal right to be here and I have a constitutionally protected right to be here, I will in grave detail tell you exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't want to hear
If you're going to violate my rights, then I'm going to plead the fifth, and I'm not going to. All right, well then I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing here.
That's fine.
And I'm going to. If you make me leave and you violate my rights, you're going to be sorry you did that. So I'm just suggesting that you contact the lieutenant, your chief, your district attorney, whoever you want to speak to, because you're making a mistake. I am absolutely within my rights.
That's fine.
Both legally, federally, state law, every law that there is on the books. I am not violating one law. Nor have I, nor do I intend to. And that's a fact. And you're a law enforcement officer. You're not a feelings
You know what?
enforcement officer.
I don't want to hear you anymore. Okay?
Why, you don't like the truth?
No, just be quiet.
You can't tell me to be quiet. I can say whatever I want to say.
Okay?
You should figure it out before you tell me you're going to make me leave. Would be a good idea. And I just told you I wanted to start all over again, cordial and calm. I'm trying to be as respectful as I can. I'm calling you Sergeant Dunaway. I'm being very respectful to you. I'm being very cordial.
I am not being disrespectful to you.
No, you're not. You're not. But and you know what? I'll give you a little clue as to why I'm here. The purpose of why I'm here is to expose this.
Okay.
Okay? So just be careful how you proceed. That's all.
Fine.
Just because somebody that works here doesn't want to be on camera does not give them the right to violate my rights and break the law. It's not how it works. And what I was trying to say is you're not a feelings enforcement officer, you're a law enforcement officer. You're here to enforce the law, and I have not violated the law. 50 years old, I've never violated the law in my life. Never. Never been in handcuffs in my life, never been charged with a crime in my life.
Okay, so I talked to one of the employees here.
Okay.
They actually gave me the contact information for like the media liaison to the post office.
Okay.
So when it comes to the filming, they're willing to work with you if you leave your contact information here. The postmaster for this location is going to give you a call.
So basically, here's the thing.
But they don't want you
cannot film on postal property. Unless
Sure you can. No, you're absolutely mistaken. Sir, with all due respect, I promise you, okay, if your district attorney's office was open today, we could call them and find out. You are absolutely 100% wrong, I promise you.
Okay.
I promise you, and I understand that you believe that. DHS put out a memo, okay? It was a memo from 2010, which was unredacted in 2018, which gives me the right to film on all federal property, inside and outside, in publicly accessible areas.
Okay.
As long as I don't go into a restricted area.
So
That's the only requirement.
What information we're working with right now?
I would just check with somebody higher up, because if you guys violate my rights, the town of Silverthorne is going to be on the hook for a huge bill, and I don't want to do that.
That's what we're doing right now. So
It's not,
I
and
appreciate
you,
your concern.
no, and you got, no, but seriously, don't just appreciate my concern. Guys that are looking for a lawsuit wouldn't tell you that.
Okay.
Okay? I don't want to sue Silverthorne. I don't want to sue. I just told the sergeant, I'm 50 years old, never been arrested in my life.
You look good for 50, dude.
Thank you. I've also never sued anybody in my life. And I'm not looking to start. Okay? That's all we're doing, taking a little film. It's a constitutionally protected activity, and there's also documented case law. So I'm just telling you, you guys want to look it up before you make a decision. And I'm glad you're looking into it. I appreciate that.
Is he a friend of yours, your son?
Is he a friend of mine?
Or son? Or
Why?
I was just wondering, I mean, how do you guys end up together?
A little bit of an age gap.
Yeah, a little bit of an age gap. Just curious. Just wondering.
A little bit of an age gap. There's 34 years of an age gap. That's how old he was when he was. That's how old I was when he was born.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you guys know each other?
That's a lot of personal questions, but I'm going to answer it only because you're going through the motions of looking into what you got going on here.
Yeah.
He's my son.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
And I'm not a dishonest person. What I told you was I'm traveling through Silverthorne. Okay? I came in to buy a stamp, documenting our trip, and that's what we're doing. So I basically have told you what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah. And that's all. And I'm not trying to give you a hard time as far as you saying that we're not allowed to photograph or take video on federal property. Mm-hmm. Lawsuits of that type get extremely expensive for municipalities, okay? And you don't want to put your municipality in that situation. And I am promising you right now, 1,000%, okay, that what you said in that statement was absolutely 100% wrong. Okay, so just look into that, because you're a young officer and you're gonna have a beautiful career ahead of you.
The postal master said, and I actually have contacts with the postal inspection service, and I've
dealt with them.
Well, none of them told you I couldn't film in here. That conversation never happened.
We've talked about that in the past.
They've never told you I can't film inside of the post office. I can guarantee you that.
Okay. You
And
sit
if-
here and try to argue with me about a conversation.
Whoever told you that had no authority to tell you that because they don't know what they're talking about.
I figure as postal inspectors, they probably do. But.
The postal inspector would have authority to tell you what the law is, but there is a possibility that he might be misinformed.
It could be.
Yeah.
I was inside when he was there, so my address was set there, and I have a problem with that's I don't want my address on.
Okay, so the way that works is there is no expectation of privacy in public. You're in public.
You're not in public.
Can we meet you outside?
That's the way it
We'll
works.
talk to you, but we'll meet
I don't.
outside, okay?
I mean, for
We'll
privacy
talk to you.
reasons.
There is no privacy in public, sir.
May I get to my box?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you let her in so she can get
Where's your box? Am I blocking it? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sure. No problem, ma'am.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, and there is no expectation of privacy in public. You know,
Yeah, we know that, especially in the state of Colorado. It's a one-party recording.
anywhere,
Go talk to him. Yeah, thanks.
I tend to leave my private affairs at home. When I go out in public, I don't do things that I consider private.
Yeah. No,
Right.
that's a good practice, especially nowadays where everything is.
Well, it's not only is it a good practice, it's also the law, federal and state.
Well, you're allowed to share information, but sometimes it's better not to, right?
There is no expectation of privacy in
Yes.
public, and you know that.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So it's like
So the onus,
we're all Gen 4 every 15.
like to give you an example, this gentleman, the onus is on him to keep his information private. It's not on me to secure his privacy. It's not even your responsibility to secure his privacy. It's his responsibility.
A firm.
So that's all it is.
Sure.
And you know what? I'll tell you, I'll take it a little bit further for you. I am a huge supporter of the Constitution of the United States of America, and our rights are being eroded daily in this country. Okay? So rights are like muscles, and if you don't exercise them, they go away. So I'm out exercising my rights. That's what we're doing. That's all it is.
Okay.
And I am extremely well versed in the law. I don't break the law. I wouldn't do anything to put myself in handcuffs. And if for you to handcuff me or arrest me or detain me or any of that stuff, you would have to violate my rights to make that happen, because I'm not going to give you that.
I'm confused. What are you talking about?
If you decided to handcuff me, detain me, arrest me, charge me, any of those things, you would be in violation of my rights, because I would not do something to give you the authority to be able to do that.
Sure. That's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
And I want you to understand, the reason that we're here is I want you to walk away from this having a better education on what the rules are on federal property.
Sure.
And I want to walk away having learned something and educated myself as well. So if we all walk away from this situation with a better education, a better understanding of each other, and a better understanding of how the law works and how the Constitution works, I call that a good day.
yeah, I agree.
That's all
You
it
can
is.
all get educated. That's awesome.
That's all it is. Yeah, myself included. My son's getting a wonderful education. He's 16 years old, and he's learning the ropes, you know?
You guys came out from Denver, you said?
We did come up from Denver, yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah.
How long have you been in Colorado?
Well, there's a lot of questions. Let's see what the sergeant
Here's
has to
kind
say
of the
here.
deal.
Okay,
They don't want you here.
I understand that.
We're trespassing you on behalf of.
You're going to trespass me?
The post
I want you to speak to your lieutenant before you do that, because
Okay.
I'm going to file a lawsuit against you if you trespass me. I
That's
promise
fine.
you.
That's fine.
And I'm going to name you personally, and you're going to lose your qualified immunity because you're violating my rights. Are you
fine.
sure? You're going to pay
Okay.
for this personally.
That's fine.
You really think it's fine? I'm going to sue you.
The post office does not want you in here.
Okay,
you
but-
can film out there.
But do you understand you're going to lose your qualified immunity? If you're telling me you're trespassing me, I will follow any
They
lawful
don't-
order you give me.
They don't
Okay.
want you on their property.
That's not their decision to make, and you don't understand
That's-
that. And you're making a big mistake for your municipality. You really are. You're going to cost
Go
them
ahead.
dearly.
Go ahead, please.
So you're telling me I'm trespassed?
Please leave.
Please.
Are you going to officially trespass me, or you just ask me to leave?
This is what we told you.
No, if you're asking me to leave, I refuse. If you're going to trespass me, I'll walk outside and I want a notification of trespass. I want to be formally trespassed if that's what you're doing. Otherwise, I'm not leaving.
What you have it on? You have it on video.
No, that's not good enough. You can formally trespass me or leave me alone. That's your options.
We're asking you to leave.
And I respectfully decline unless you're going to formally trespass me. If you're going to formally trespass me, I will happily leave
They
immediately.
want you. They want.
We're going to go around in circles in this conversation forever. If you're going to formally trespass me, I will walk out the door immediately. Okay? If you're not going to formally trespass me, I am not leaving. I'm going to go buy my stamp. I have business to conduct here, and you're preventing me from doing that.
I don't think they're going to sell you a stamp.
Well, then they're denying me service, and that'll be another lawsuit.
Well, I don't know their laws.
I know you don't.
Federal.
I know you don't know their laws, man. Believe me, you've proven that in the last 5 minutes. So do you want to formally trespass?
Want you on their property.
I'm going to say this one more time, and then I'm going to walk past you, and I'm going to go buy my stamp. If you are going to formally trespass me legally from this property, I will leave immediately. If you're not, I'm going to go buy my stamp. Does that make sense? I'm not going to just leave because you're requesting me to.
My sergeant's saying something else. And
She's
I follow my sergeant. Right?
Well,
so that's where we're at. I get what you're saying.
no, but what she did was request that I leave. That's a request. It's not a lawful order. Are you giving me a lawful order to leave?
I can't read her mind. I don't know exactly what she's saying.
Okay, so we'll stand here. We'll stand here and wait until it gets cleared up. Then I guess.
Yeah. We will.
And I think you're a very reasonable person.
Thank you.
And I understand that you're just following your sergeant's orders. And one day you will be a sergeant. I'm sure you will. And this is. I want you.
Get to your box, man.
No. That way.
Oh, go
Okay, you're
ahead.
fine.
Sure. Okay.
And I want you to remember this, because you're going to be in charge of people one day. You're going to make it. You're going to be a sergeant. You're probably going to be a lieutenant one day, because you have a very level head on your shoulders, and you're a very professional, well-demeanored, cordial individual.
I appreciate
So
it.
you'll go far with that. But in the meanwhile, here we are. So, and I told you, I know my rights. I know my rights, and
so we can work on it.
if you want to ask me about DWI laws and speeding laws and that kind of thing, I have no idea what I'm talking about. You ask me about this stuff, I know better than your district attorney does.
Here's my business card. You can sue me. Okay.
I'm not going to sue you unless you formally trespass me.
They're asking me to leave.
And I'm respectfully declining unless I'm being formally trespassed. If you formally trespass me, I will leave immediately.
Here's the other thing. 15 minutes. It closes now. So you can stand here.
So you're not going to formally trespass me, so I'm going to go buy my stamp.
No.
If I'm not trespassing,
You can't film it.
am I free to go? Am I free
We
to?
want you
They
to
do not
go.
want you back in.
Am I free to leave?
The building, yes.
I'm asking, am I free to leave?
The building, yes.
So if I'm free to leave, I'm free to stay. So I'm going to go buy my stamp.
They do not want you in that office.
That's not their call.
Yeah, it is.
Well, then formally trespass me and I'll leave. You can't have it both ways. That's not the way it works. I'm sorry. I'm not refusing to leave, but you're not trespassing me.
They're not going to serve you.
That's not up to them. It's up to you. You need to get them to sign a trespass order and give me.
It's not up to me. Okay? They're asking me to tell
Sir,
you
can
to
you let
leave.
her in?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll even hold the door for you, man.
Thank you.
Yep. So listen, I'm going to say one last time just so we're all clear and it's on the record. I am not refusing to leave. I will walk out the door immediately and never come back if I am formally trespassed. If I am not formally trespassed, I'm going to go buy my stamp. So what do we do?
Go ahead. They're not going to serve you.
Okay, I'll wait in line and see, and then
I don't care.
they can deny service.
This is for express mail service, right? This is in a cardboard box. Is it express?
It's not a no-win.
I'll give you my.
The
I'll
way,
give
you know
my
what?
card.
You know what?
You're formally trespassed. Go.
I want it in writing.
We'll
Just
write it
go.
down.
You're going to give it to me in writing?
We'll write it down.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. If that's what you're doing. And you're not going to buy time for 15 minutes until they close the door and not formally trespass me. I'm giving you 3 minutes to start the paperwork, and I'm coming back in.
All right.
And the time starts now. Because what you're doing, you're violating my rights and you're
I
inconveniencing
do
me.
need your ID if I'm going to write it down.
You don't need my ID.
Yes, I do. I
I'll
need to
get.
know who you
No,
are.
I'll give you my name. You don't need my ID.
Can I get your name and date of birth? I do need those things.
No, you don't.
Go. Go on.
After you, young lady.
Sorry.
Sure.
I'm good. Go ahead.
The thing is,
No, it's not the thing is. No, you guys have violated my rights at this point. I want my trespass order.
I'm just letting you know
I
how
have
the system
12.
works.
Listen, I know how the system works better than you do. You're getting an education from me today. We have 12 minutes for me to buy my stamp. So you either trespass me in writing now or I'm going back in. That's it. Let's stop playing games.
You trespassed.
So you're not going to write me a formal trespass.
I need your name.
You just lied to me inside.
I'm not lying to you.
You know what?
You're formally trespassed. Go.
I want it in writing.
We'll
Just
write it
go.
down.
You're going to give it to me in writing?
We'll write it down.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. If that's what you're doing.
Give us your name and date of birth. That's how.
You don't need my name and date of birth for a trespass. No, you don't. You guys don't know the law.
Okay.
Okay, you really don't. I'm sorry.
I don't,
Well, you just told me I couldn't film in there, and I can.
that's your opinion.
Well, I'm going to go back in.
No, you're not.
No, you're not, dude.
Well, then trespass me.
You are trespassed.
That's not a trespass. You're asking me to leave. And when you ask somebody, they have the right to say yes or no.
Trespass form for you.
Sure you do.
No, I don't.
Sure you do. I want a lieutenant. I want to hire up here.
You don't
She
have
is
a-
the higher up.
I'm going to call 911 and tell them that my rights are being violated. Well, actually, call the sheriff's department. We'll get the sheriff down here and they'll straighten you out. You guys have no idea what you're talking about. And I want your business card because you're going to be sued.
I already gave it to you.
Did you give it to me? No?
I already gave it to you.
You gave me your business card?
I gave it to you.
Well, give me another one because I don't know what I did with it. And I'll take yours too, please. And I'd like a business card from you as well. That's state law in case you don't know, so you can give me your business card.
I have mine in the car.
Well, go grab one. You have to give it to me upon demand immediately, so go grab the card. You guys just opened up a shit can on yourself. No, you have to give me a business card. That's not true. State law says you have to give me your business card. Go grab it. You guys just opened up a can of shit on yourselves. You really did. You have no idea who I am and what I do and what I know. You're making a huge mistake. No, you're going to be sorry. It's going to cost you your career, ma'am. You have no idea what you just did. And you still have a chance to fix it. You still have a chance to call one of your hires up and just verify what you're doing. But you're going to make such a mistake for this municipality, it's a shame.
Okay.
And you're going to be, it's going to, you know what? You want to hang yourself? That's up to you. And that smirk will be gone from your face too. You're going to be you guys just lost your qualified immunity. You're going to pay for this personally. No, it's not fine.
There you go, sir.
That's your ego talking. Thank you.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you're included in this too. You all just lost your qualified immunity. You're going to be personally sued for violating my rights. So prepare yourselves. Unless you want to do something to fix it now. I'm not leaving. I came outside. I don't have to leave. Why do I have to leave?
Because I'm
You're asking me, right? You're asking me. Just like you asked me. No, you didn't.
Okay.
You didn't trespass me. You think you did. What you did was bully me out the door. Let's be real about what you just did. You're making a huge mistake. You don't know the law. You don't know what you're doing.
That's fine.
And you're setting a horrible example for your charges
that's
here.
Fine.
Yeah, no, it's not fine.
Okay.
It's really not fine. Did you call the sheriff? Call the sheriff. I'm not going anywhere. I'm waiting for a sheriff.
We can request one. You don't have to call.
Is this Summit County?
Yeah, request the sheriff for me then. Go ahead. The sheriff will come here and tell you how wrong you are. And now you've prevented me from buying my stamp because I only have however many minutes left. Now I can't. So you're just digging yourself deeper.
All right, it's maybe about 15-minute wait where he's coming from.
I got all day, man. I can wait all day. You guys just made a huge mistake. And if you had a half a brain in your head, you'd go make a phone call and verify what I'm telling you. I'm not here to jerk off and I'm not here to play games with you. I know what I'm talking about and you're wrong. You know what your qualified immunity is, right? You understand that concept? And you understand that when you violate somebody's rights, you lose it? And you're going to be personally liable for this? Does that make any difference to you? You really don't? You have that much faith in that woman's knowledge that you're really going to believe that? You're going to risk your... Really? So you just take people's word for it without checking? Why don't you go sit in your car and check the law? Why don't you go check the law? Why don't you make some phone calls and really talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about? Is your district attorney available today? Your DA would tell you instantly what I'm telling you. The sheriff's going to show up and tell you you're wrong. But by that time, this place is going to be closed and you violated my rights. You made a massive mistake. I'm sorry. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in Silverthorne.
It's a nice town.
Well, I don't know. We'll see how it looks on the inside of the courthouse. It's a shame. And when you think about it, at the end of the day, all I was doing was go in there, buy a stamp, and I was leaving. So all this for a stamp. Egos and a stamp. That's what the title of this video should be. See, your smirk is what proves me right. He's a nice guy. He's sitting there and he's wondering if I'm right. He's not sure. Your smirk just celebrates your ignorance. It doesn't do you any good. You'll never be sergeant. You're not going anywhere. It's the truth. You know I'm right, but you're in a bad position.
It is a position, sir.
I understand your
I
position.
understand you want to come in here and you want to get stamped, right?
I want to follow the law, and I want to do a constitutionally protected activity. That's all it is.
But my thing
if you were the sergeant, we wouldn't be doing this.
I usually buy stamps without bringing a camera in.
Well, I usually walk around without a badge and a gun on.
Yeah.
So I mean, people do different things.
New things, right?
No.
That's what we're trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out the thing you're doing.
All right. So then why not? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on that. So then why not be cordial? You were cordial, but why not? Why wouldn't your sergeant be cordial with me and say, okay, you know what? Tell me your side of it. Let's hear what you have to say. Let me verify what you're telling me. Let me look into the legality of what you're telling me. Let me look into the constitutionality of what you're telling me.
Right.
She doesn't even want to hear it. All her words are is, I don't want to hear a word out of your mouth. Don't tell me anything.
Well, I'm talking to you right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to have the discussion.
Oh, I told you inside. I don't think I've ever praised a police officer as much as I did you just 10 minutes ago.
Right.
I understand your predicament. I said it before you said it. You don't agree with her and you don't agree with me. You're not sure where it is. And I understand that.
We're working it out right now. What I do know is that the post office employees don't want you in there.
That's not their choice.
The camera part, you know.
That's not their choice. The only way you can trespass somebody from public property is if they create a disturbance or violate the law. I didn't either.
They claim that you threatened an employee.
They claimed I threatened an employee?
That's what the lady told me.
Really? Who told you that? Because I started filming before I got here and it's been running ever since. So that's a lie. So now somebody just filed a false police report. I'm telling you, this is going to turn into a mess for you. Which employee said I threatened them?
Can I help you, sir?
That's not true anyway, because if that was the case, you would arrest me for threatening somebody.
Oh, gotcha. I was wondering if you weren't able to get in. No. I was just...
Curiosity killed the cat. It's a beautiful day. So anyway, which employee was this?
The employee that I was standing talking at the door. I don't know her name.
The female with the short hair said that I threatened her?
She didn't say you threatened her.
That's what you just said.
An employee.
I threatened an employee.
That's what she told me.
I bet you guys are wishing you could like just leave, come back and start this all over again at this point. Because, yeah. As a sergeant, your skills at de-escalation and handling this situation and setting an example for these two young gentlemen should be far superior to what they are.
Okay. Well,
you're failing at your job today.
That's your opinion.
Can you get
No, it's a
stamps at
fact.
the grocery store?
I don't know, that's a good question.
I think you can.
Maybe.
You can.
It'd just be easier, man.
But I told you what my point is. I do this deliberately. I told you what I'm doing.
But
And
I'm trying to work with you, and I'm just asking.
Okay.
I know where you're coming from.
Okay.
I get it. You said you're a big believer in the Constitution.
Yep.
But right now, for the purposes of just resolving this situation,
Okay.
if we could get some stamps at the post office.
It's not about getting. It's not about getting stamps.
Okay.
You're not understanding where I'm coming from. It's not about getting stamps. It's about your job is to enforce the law, correct? That's what you are. You're a law enforcement officer, right? You're not a feelings enforcement officer. So if somebody feels like they don't want to be on camera, it's not your job to enforce that. It's your job to enforce it when I hit them over the head with the camera, not when I film them in a public place.
There's a fine line between.
No, there's no fine line. There's the Supreme Court of the United States has ruled on this, and there's case law. I'm not going to give it to you because you can do your.
You can film in the career.
I can film it anywhere in this post office I want.
You can film in the office.
Ma'am, we can.
That's what the
We can.
problem.
Ma'am, did you tell somebody that I threatened an employee?
You were threatening to sue.
Threatening to sue.
Correct.
And telling you I did not want to. That's not a threat. That's not the same thing. So do you see how words can get misconstrued? She's talking about threatening to sue.
So
You came out and said that I
talk
threatened.
about this, like,
Oh, we
over
can.
time?
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a rule in there.
Well, the only problem with time is they're going to close in 2 minutes and I can't buy my stamp.
But then we can go to the grocery store. You just said it wasn't about the
Stamp's not
stamp.
the issue. So
Stamp's not the issue.
So
The
why
issue
can't-
is my
Why
constitutional
can't we
rights.
slow it down then?
I'm here defending your rights.
You talked about educating, right?
Yes.
You talked about educating how, part of our role as police officers sometimes is to educate the public.
Yes.
But if there is something in there, I don't work at the post office. I
Okay.
don't know every rule that goes on there.
I do.
I understand.
Okay.
But I'd like to learn. All right? I'd like to get to know it.
Okay. Good.
And resolve it.
Okay.
So is there a reason why all this has to be done
So
now?
since you said that, every question you ask me from now on concerning what I'm doing here, I'm going to answer in great detail and be totally honest with you. So go ahead.
Well, what is your understanding of the law that allows you to
I'll tell you.
film in there when I'm getting contradictory information?
In
That's just what I'm trying to understand
2010,
the difference.
in 2010, the Department of Homeland Security put out a bulletin, okay, advising law enforcement that filming exteriors and interiors of federally owned, leased property, I should say, because the federal government doesn't own any property outside of Washington, D.C., okay, photographing or videotaping those properties inside or outside in publicly accessible areas is perfectly legal. DHS put out a memo saying that in 2010, okay? In 2018, they unredacted that same memo and reissued it. And I have a copy of that memo in my car. So that's from the...
Redact it in the first place.
They unredacted it, I'm sorry. They removed the redactions and reissued with its unredacted, in its unredacted form in 2018.
What did they do? Why did they redact it in the first place?
Why does the government redact anything? I don't know. You request Public Information Act stuff and half of it's all blacked out. I don't know. I don't know what that, you don't know what that is. But, so DHS, if you check with them and you call federal Homeland Security or federal police, will tell you what I'm telling you is the truth, okay? Post office policy allows me to film inside the post office as long as I don't go into a restricted area. That's what it says on the sign, okay? Being that I am filming, this video is going to be seen by many, many, many thousands of people, okay? I have one video up that has over 3 million views.
Dude, that's some money.
Well, I've gotten my channel, it's not about money. My channel's gotten 20 million views in the past 11 months.
Dang.
Okay? So I get some views and I know what I'm talking about and I know what I'm doing. Okay? So what I'm telling you is I'm allowed to be here. I'm allowed to videotape inside and outside of the property as long as I don't go into any restricted areas. Okay? And that has been upheld by the Supreme Court. It's been upheld by DHS. I have the memo in my car. I'm not making things up, okay? And it's also state law. There is no state law that says that I cannot film inside of a post office. Doesn't exist. There's no such thing. So you're trying to enforce a law that doesn't exist. And at the end of the day, the reality of the situation is you don't even have jurisdiction inside this building. You have zero jurisdiction here because you're not a federal police officer. That's where I'm supposed to drop the mic, but I don't have one. You really got to look into what you're doing. Seriously, because it's not a joke.
I'm not.
The Constitution of the United States, men and women go overseas and die every day for a Constitution of the United States to give me the right to do what I do. It's not a joke. How are you, sir? You're a sheriff?
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir? My name's Jason.
Sergeant Piper.
Sergeant Piper. Can I just get a badge number or an ID number?
13.
13. Okay. So Sergeant Piper, the reason I requested your presence here today, and I'm sorry to take you away from anything else you were doing that was probably far more important than this, is to just educate these folks and let them know that I am not violating a law and I am not violating a rule by photographing or taking pictures on post office property.
That wasn't the reason that you were trespassed.
Sure it is. What was the reason I was trespassed?
That the lady told me that you were threatening their employee.
No. Did you hear what she just said? She just came out and said that what she meant was I was threatening to sue.
That's not what she told me.
That's what she just said right in front of you on camera. You both heard it. Ma'am, did you tell somebody that I threatened an employee?
You were threatening to sue.
Threatening to sue?
Correct.
Ma'am, I'm done speaking to you. I'm going to speak to the sheriff. The end of the day is, okay?
I'm sorry, what was your name, sir?
I didn't give it. My name is Jason. I'll give you my first name, okay? You're a constitutional police officer, correct?
Yep.
Sheriff. So it's your obligation to uphold the Constitution of the United States, correct?
Right, but
okay.
I'm going to tell you that it's their jurisdiction.
It's not their jurisdiction. This is the jurisdiction of federal police. This is federal property. This is not the jurisdiction.
Nope, right here is the jurisdiction of the Silverthorne Police Department.
Okay, and you're a county sheriff.
You're right.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
And we're going to divert to their jurisdiction.
So you're going to divert to their jurisdiction, and you're going to allow them to violate my rights.
I don't believe they're violating your rights, sir.
Okay, so I need a business card from you.
You got it.
You'll be named on the lawsuit as well.
Okay.
Okay. And just so you know, as I told them, you're violating my constitutional rights, so you're going to lose your qualified immunity, and this is going to come out of your pocket. I'm sorry you chose to do that. Do you want to call somebody higher up maybe and get some advice before you go through with this? Nope. You sure?
I'm positive.
You guys are all going to have sad faces when we're in court.
Okay.
All right, so was there any other, you and I were having a very intelligent conversation. I told you I'd answer your questions. So do you have any further questions for me?
I mean, I'm going to look into it on my own for sure.
And then you're going to do one of those because you're going to realize I was right.
Give me your phone number or something. I can call you at a later time. We can talk about it. But they don't want you in the building today.
Yeah, but that's not their choice. You don't understand that. That's not their choice. That is not their choice. They don't have the right. That's like if I walk into I'm in the middle of a sentence, ma'am. Go ahead.
Let me understand.
I'll concede.
This. So if a federal employee of the post office, they do not have the right to refuse service to anybody? Is that what you're telling me?
They only have the right. That's correct. They only have the right to refuse service for a lawful reason. This is a publicly owned building. This is not a private business. It's different. If I go into Starbucks and one of the employees at Starbucks feels like they want me to leave, that's a private business. And if they ask me to leave, I have to leave.
Right, I understand that.
This is a publicly owned facility. My tax dollars pay for this building. Your tax dollars pay for this building. So it's the same as if I'm sitting in the park reading a right-wing newspaper and a Democrat walks into the park and says, I don't like that newspaper, you got to go. That's the same situation. Or a county employee who's picking up trash in the park says, I don't like that newspaper, you got to leave, you can't read that here. I'm an employee of the county, you can't be here. That's not the way the law works, ma'am, and you know that.
Well,
you're not a feelings police, you're a law enforcement officer.
But what I'm asking you is, what you're telling me is, when they asked you not to film, the employee said, then she said it got escalated.
No, it was the same thing I said to you. I said, I am 50 years old, I have never sued anybody in my life, and I don't want to sue anybody.
Let me tell
I'm not interested in suing anybody. But if somebody violates my rights, then I'm going to have to file a lawsuit. You're not giving me an option.
But let me finish here.
Okay.
She said that it escalated, and then you threatened an employee.
That is not true.
And that's when they said for you to leave.
When she just came out here 5 minutes ago, which I don't know why you're pretending you didn't hear that, and I said to her, did you tell these officers that I threatened? See, you don't let me speak. You asked me a question, okay? When I said to her, did you tell these officers that I threatened somebody? She said, yeah, you threatened to sue somebody. That's what she just said 5 minutes ago standing here. Your other officers heard that. I don't know why you didn't.
That's not what she told me when I talked to her.
Well, she lied to you. That's called filing a false police report. That happens every day.
We're lied to constantly.
Of course you are. So why would you listen to the person that's lying to you instead of the person that's being honest with you and logical and telling you the truth? I follow the law. I don't break the law. Okay? You can look up my record. I have never been arrested or charged with a crime in 50 years. Well, I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that. And I also told you I would tell you my details and tell you who I was if you didn't violate my rights. But since you're choosing to violate my rights, my lawyer's going to give you my name.
Okay.
And that's how you'll find out who I am.
Okay.
Okay? Which is unfortunate. Do you understand the concept, okay, that you people are law enforcement? You're not feelings enforcement. So if any employee of this place has a justifiable, lawful reason why I should not be in there, you come here and you enforce that. If they just don't feel like me being there today, I was there to buy a stamp. I'm standing in line with money in my hand to buy a stamp. And I was told to leave because somebody didn't feel like having me there today. That's not the way the law works. And being that it's from a federally owned post office facility, which is public property, okay, now you violated my rights.
Okay.
Do you at least understand what I'm saying? Does it make any sense to you at all? Or you just don't even agree with that? You just think because, what if I walked in with a shirt that said Hard Rock Cafe and one of these ladies don't like the Hard Rock Cafe? Oh, you can't be in here with that t-shirt? You can't be in here with that camera? You can't be in here with that? Whose ideas are these?
The thing that I don't understand is your motive.
I told you my motive. You want to know what my motive is? I have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. My channel gets 75,000 views a day. Okay? And what I do is I go out and defend my constitutional rights for you, and all of us. For every one of the customers and every one of the employees in there. I put myself in harm's way, risk of being arrested, illegally arrested, risk of being unlawfully detained, okay? All in the name of defending the Constitution of the United States. That's what I do, and that's the reason that I do it. And that's why going to the supermarket to buy a stamp isn't going to solve my problem.
Isn't there a better way to get your point of view?
If you could tell me a better way, I'd be happy to hear it. I think what I just did today was educate 4 police officers. Because you're not going to make this same mistake again. I can guarantee you that.
I thought you got arrested for harassment. I don't remember where. I think I did see one of your videos.
You think I got arrested for harassment?
I thought you did.
I will write.
Talking about doing it.
Really? Well, I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal, okay? I'll bet you $1,000 that's not true. And if you want to take the bet, I'll give you my name, all my information right now, and you can check and see if I've ever been arrested.
I'm just saying what I think I remember from a YouTube video I saw.
I have never, look me in the eye, with your sunglasses on, off, whatever you want. I have never been arrested. I have never been charged with a crime.
Okay.
And you're not going to start today.
Okay.
Comprende?
Yeah.
So stop making things up.
All right, sir. Have a nice day.
Well, I'm having a great day.
Okay.
All right, you have a nice day.
Thank you.
Yep, so what'd you do? Wait till 12 when they lock the doors? Did you get all your info you needed? Your wife's waiting for you. You'd like that, wouldn't you? All right, so we have Silverthorne Police Vehicle 263. We have an unmarked sheriff's vehicle, license plate VXO058, which will, now your unmarked sheriff's vehicle will be all over the internet too. Silverthorne Police 262. And we have Silverthorne Police 260. Last but not forgotten. All right, guys. That's how they roll at the Silverthorne Post Office here in Colorado. Clear rights violation, and we're going to follow up with our attorney and take it from there. We will definitely be filing a lawsuit against Silverthorne, Colorado for violating our rights. And you know, I'm sorry it went that way. I tried to make my best efforts to let them know that we didn't want to do that, and they just didn't want to hear about it, didn't want to get educated, didn't want to learn about what the law was. The sergeant was very ignorant as far as I'm concerned, and very unwilling to get an education on the situation and stand up for what's right. So that's going to do it for this one. So we're going to hop back in the truck, head down the road. We have some great stops planned for you guys over the next few days, and we got some great stuff coming. So stay tuned, keep your eyes out for the next one. Don't forget to comment, share your thoughts and opinions, let us know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. If you share our videos, you click the little like button, helps the channel out tremendously, and it doesn't cost you a penny. And when you subscribe, if you choose to do that, don't forget to hit the notification bell and click all, so you get all of our notifications when all of our videos come out. And you won't miss any of them. Also do the same for watching the Watchmen. Kid's got some great stuff going on. He just passed 13,000 subscribers, and getting a lot of good feedback and support, and I'm very proud of him. So check him out. Link will be in the description, and that's it. So coming to you from the post office here in Silverthorne, Colorado, guys. Amagansett Press, watching the Watchmen. We're out. See you on the next one.